Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'll be sketching this image. This is a request that was made to me to do the clock that's located on Fort Myers Beach in Times Square. So I'll be doing this in ink and watercolor, very loose. And let me share with you how I started this. I already have it penciled out, so I'm going to start with the pen. So like I said, I have this sketched out already. It's on a 9 by 12 inch size Arches watercolor paper, and I'm just going to go over all my pencil lines with a Micron 01, a real nice fine tip pen. And I'm going to keep this very loose. And I exaggerated the clock because that was my subject of this sketch, so I wanted to really exaggerate that. So I made it a little bit bigger, kind of a little wonky, and then the palm trees will be a little bit smaller. I left out a couple palm trees, but I got this image on Instagram. It was taken back in 2016, and that was pre-Ian. So this clock is blue, and it was taken out by the storm. So it was no longer there, as well as the pier behind there, that is gone. And then behind this image, there was a lot of restaurants, bars, ice cream shops, souvenir shops, and just a really cute little area that is completely wiped out. Everything was pretty much gone in that area. So they're starting to rebuild a little bit. Things are starting to come back. They haven't replaced the pier yet. We're waiting on that. But this clock was blue, and everybody was asking after it was taken out, when are they going to replace it? So they did finally get it replaced 1 year to the day of the storm. It was a 1 year anniversary. They put it up, unveiled it, and everybody was really happy to see the new clock, which is not blue anymore. It's a shade of green. I prefer the blue, but everybody was happy to see the new clock. It's kind of like getting back to normal, kind of a little bit of getting back to normal. And there's a little flag in this sketch, which was really, I had to put that in. Love to always add a flag. And you've got a little sliver of beach back there, or excuse me, water. A little bit of the Gulf back there. Gulf of America is what it's called now. And so I'm gonna do all the pencil lines, or excuse me, all the pen lines first with this really fine tip pen, and then I'm gonna go in really loosely with the watercolor. This is gonna be kind of drippy and very loose with just a few colors. I like that there's a little street light there too. I loved putting those in. I think I've got 4 palm trees in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one on the edge there. So I just put in 4. I left the one that's in the very forefront out. or excuse me, I left, let's see, which one did I leave out? Oh, I left the one to the left of the clock out. Because it just was going to be kind of, because I exaggerated the clock so big, it was just going to be buried behind the clock anyways. When I do the palms, I just keep the pen on the paper and just go back and forth. Very loose. And in the middle of the pier, there was a little souvenir shop. They sold bait there. It was really cute. A lot of cute little souvenirs. That's obviously gone. And at the end of the pier, there was a nice little overhang so you could sit in the shade and fish. So I'm sure when they get this rebuilt, the pier rebuilt, it's going to be really nice. So I'm kind of getting to the end of the first initial ink marks. And I'm going to go in with some watercolor now. I have a little jar of watercolor there, a little jar of, excuse me, water. And I'm going to be starting off with a big brush. I have a 3/4 inch brush. And I'm going to be using my Mealing 52 pan set of watercolors. This set's perfect for me because it just has a lot of beautiful blues and greens. Great for landscapes. I'm going to add a lot of water. And I'm starting off with the sky blue. I'm going to add a little bit of green to this palette too, so I have a few colors ready to go. That's a lime green and a little bit of I think that's yellow green. Or no, I'm sorry, that's sea blue. I'm mixing that in to give me kind of a little bit of a deeper green with the sea blue. Cobalt blue. So I'm mixing a few different blue, get a couple different shades of blues and greens on my palette, so I'm ready to go. Adding a little touch of violet. And there's a lot of water on my brush, so I'm going to start off with a really light wash. And then I'll pick up the cobalt blue, drop that into the clock, let it all run together. I want a nice drip. A little more sky blue. And a little light turquoise. There they go. Gotta add a lot of water to get those drips. Add a little more cobalt. And then I'm going to mix a little, I'm going to drop a little green into that. It's okay if it blends in with the blue. I want some of these colors to run together. Do some spatters just by tapping the brush. I'm going to do that into the palm trees. Instead of just brushing in the green of the palm trees, I'm just going to splatter some paint, and that'll be the green of my palm trees. It'll spread nicely on top of the wet that's already there. I've picked up a smaller brush. I'll do a few more spatters here and there. So I've decided to go ahead and do the pure a little bit brighter. And I'm going to do that orange because I want to keep this really nice and bright. Keep it bright and keep it more on the abstract side. And there's a couple little palm trees in the back there. I picked up a smaller brush and I'm going to add a little bit of red and blue to the flag in the back there. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I don't get my hand into those drips. They're going to take a little while to dry. I'm going to add a little bit of blue. I want to add a little bit more yellow or orange to this. So I think I'm going to go in with the tad yellow. And drop a little yellow into the green. Exaggerate that. Even though I didn't drip it, I kind of just manufactured a drip by hand. I'm going to add some spatters of orange. And if it's too many spatters, you can just kind of take a little paper towel and blot up a little bit. If it's too much, or one's too big, or you've got too many small ones. And put some really light blue ones in the sky. So I set it aside to dry for about 20-30 minutes. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the final mark making. So I have different size microns. I believe I have the 01, 03, 08, sometimes 05. And I'll go back and forth between these different sizes for different areas. The 08 is really nice for some really nice bold marks. So I'm going to work on this clock and just exaggerate some corners. Nice thing about doing a loose sketch is you don't have to be perfect with your circles. It's nice how the spatters on the trees in the back there turned out. They actually hit the right spot and they blended beautifully with the sky blue. You can see how nicely it's starting to come together. I picked up the 02. I went a little bit finer, some finer lines. It's nice when you mix your details there with thick or thin lines. Adds a little bit of interest. We add the numbers. And so I am going to make it 5 o'clock, because you know what happens at 5 o'clock. It's cocktail time. As Jimmy Buffett says, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm making it just like a minute before. They just built a Jimmy Buffett hotel on Fort Myers Beach, and it was going up just before Hurricane Ian was coming through, so it wasn't quite, it was just kind of the beginning of the building, so nothing got destroyed on it. But it's a great place to visit if you are ever in the area. Go check out Jimmy Buffett. They have a pool on the beach, and you can, if you're not staying at the hotel, you can pay, I think it's $75, and you could spend the day at the pool. And they have a lot of fun. They have music, and they dance, and they have a little bit of entertainment. And the last storm we had 2 storms back to back, Helene and Milton, and the pool was all the way full with sand. The sand just the surge brings in the sand, and the pool was completely filled with sand. So I can't imagine the work to get all that sand out of a pool. You know what it's like, just sweeping up a little sand in your car after the beach. But yeah, check out Jimmy Buffett if you're ever in the area. It's really fun. And then they got a really nice bar restaurant that's on the beach side too. So I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit. when you're doing this part, you just kind of have to stop, look a little bit here and there, see what needs a little bit more highlighting, and you'll just know when you're doing it. There's a little fence back there, one of those little fence with the ropes, so I just will do one side of the fence. One side of the light. I don't think you can really do anything wrong when you're doing the mark making at the end. It's just picking and choosing, having fun. I'm going to exaggerate part of those numbers. A little bit of detail. Oh, that pen is dead. Grab a different one. Using a 01. Sometimes if you're using if you're working on a really rough paper, you don't want to press too hard with these microns because you can ruin the tip very easily. So you want to be careful with that. I'm getting to about the end here. Add a little bit of gravel and some little stones. Little circles, little dots. And that's about it. This piece is done. Here's my finished sketch. It really turned out nice. I like how it showcases the clock. That was the main theme of this. I love the blues and the greens and that little pop of orange and the American flag. And then you've got a little bit of water of the Gulf there, Gulf of America. So I hope you enjoyed this sketch. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, please. If you haven't, I'd appreciate it. I'll leave all the supplies in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I want you to have a wonderful day and find time to sketch. Bye for now.